Hello, my name is Christian Ludemann, and I'll be your teacher in Angular Architect Accelerator. Next 8 weeks, we got a lot of stuff to cover, all designed to take you from where you are now in your Angular career to a senior Angular developer, a lead Angular developer, maybe getting a remote job or become a highly paid freelancer. Whatever your goal is, this program is designed to take you there. So it's designed so that we are 8 weeks gonna cover the fundamental steps to work as a high-level Angular architect. So in the week 1, we have drawing your architecture, where we learn how to draw the clean architecture. We work with tools like NX, and we'll get to know the clean code practices and how to apply that to Angular. For each of those weeks, there's also a walkthrough where you can see me applying this knowledge. So either you can watch the videos, they're usually around between half an hour to an hour long, or you can watch the walkthrough where you can see me actually applying the code in action, like coding the stuff I'm talking about here. We have week 2, which is about processes and NX and feature toggling, so stuff you will normally need to do as an Angular tech lead. So this is all designed, to take you beyond what you normally know just from the Angular side, the basic components of Angular, but how to apply this to a team and be a guy who can actually lead the team in some of those processes with like decision making in a democratic way, feature toggling, schematics, and then again, that's a walkthrough. Week 3 is about testing, where I explain the different components of testing and how you can put your testing strategy together to get the most return of investment from your testing efforts, all the way from Cypress component testing, end-to-end testing, and jest testing. Week 4, we cover some advanced Angular patterns and also focus on state management with NDIX and creating a UI library, design system, with Storybook, RxJS, responsive styling, and there's some live coding walkthrough, styling and UI library walkthrough. So yeah, also common themes when you are developing an Angular app for in the industry. Then we have week 5, which is about how to create performant Angular apps. We learn about generally about performance optimization, tuning on the load time and the runtime performance and server-side rendering with the analog. Also, by the way, for each of these, for many of these lessons, there are resources you can check out. There will be slides available as well. These and there's some things you can check off here, and you can see the progress updating when you check off. Yeah, week 6 is about Angular production, where there's different components such as internationalization, handling login with OpenID and OpenID Connect, how to set up an authorization server, for example, how to handle the whole authorization flow with Angular, logging with Angular, securing Angular apps, debugging Angular apps and workflow, and backend for frontend with Angular and TRPC, and also covers the Spartan stack. Yeah. And creating Angular NPM packages, micro frontends, Angular elements, and PVA is what we cover in week 7. So we have like these modern Angular technologies we cover around here. And week 8, we have crafting your 10 commandments for Angular development. So I believe once you've been through all this content, once you have applied it to your project, then you want to conduct what's important for your project. So what I did, for example, for a client, I conducted these 10 commandments of Angular, which was kind of like simplifying the principles for good Angular development and presenting it to a team in a way that makes it very easy to follow, like a checklist. For example, like how a pilot would have a checklist before takeoff. So this is like the same way, like you would have a checklist and make sure, like, as long as you follow these 10 commands, then you would develop Angular apps in according to the principles you want your team to work with, which is also an important thing to do as an Angular lead. Efficient sprints, how to run sprints, how to maybe facilitate sprints and make sure like they go good. Also cover some of the how some of the project management and the sprint execution and facilitation you would normally do as a tech lead, and making happen what it takes, and then have some also around the process and how to create a 12-month technology roadmap. There's lots of stuff to cover in this course, and for most projects it's not doable to do all this in 8 weeks. Also, you want to factor it in, so you have maybe like the 20% Google time in your project where you can implement some of these improvements, and then you will focus on feature development for the rest of the time, and then you can just plan it out. So like all the improvement time, you can schedule that over 12 months, and then gradually you will have this implemented for your project. And then as a bonus module, I will tell you about how you can accelerate your career with building a personal brand in the industry, which I think is the most valuable thing. That's the difference between a developer, who's not only is he making a lot more money than other developers if you have a personal brand, but I think also he's better because usually if you teach stuff, then also stuff better just by teaching, because you have to educate yourself before you, for example, do a conference talk or write blog post. You have to educate yourself. So not only making yourself better, it also puts more money in the bank and gives more value to your employer or clients. If you find your niche in the Angular industry and you start blogging and creating this personal brand, which maybe was how you found me in the first place. And yeah, we have Discord, where for each of these lessons, there's a place where you can provide the exercises. So for many of these modules, there'll be exercises where you, for example, will go here to draw your Angular architecture. There'll be exercises taking you to different action items, and yeah, you get feedback here. You can see how like my students typing in here, and people are giving each other feedback, and I can go in and see like how you're doing and get feedback here. There's questions and resources for Q&A. We do it on demand. So if you have a question you want, or a topic you want me to explain over a webinar, then you can just write in here, request it in here, and then I will facilitate a webinar where we will cover that theme more in depth. And I can show you some stuff, and I can even give you a bit of consulting on your current project on these calls. So yeah, I wish you the best of luck, and I will talk to you in Discord.